I'm Autumn, 68. Standing in the beautiful garden of my house, the morning sun filtering through the leaves, I'm reminded of the long and arduous journey that led me here. It was a journey filled with betrayal, pain, and ultimately, redemption. 6 months ago, I sat in a garage that was supposed to be my apartment, surrounded by the faint smell of motor oil and old paint. It was my birthday, and my millionaire son, Leo, sat across from me with a big smile on his face. "Mom, are you enjoying the place I got for you?" he asked. I took a deep breath and whispered, "Son, I live in this garage." My daughter, Ava, dropped her glass at that moment, but it was the look in her eyes that truly shattered my heart. It was a look of recognition, not shock. She had known all along. Leo's face turned white. He tried to convince himself that it was a garage apartment, separate from the main house. But as I showed him around, pointing out the exposed water heater, the lack of insulation, and the single electrical outlet, he began to realize the truth. For 3 years, I had lived in this cold, damp garage, while he thought he was paying for me to live in a proper home. The heating bills he'd been paying were for the main house, a beautiful property in an upscale neighborhood. When we finally went to the house, we found Ava living there in luxury. She tried to justify her actions, saying I was a burden and that she was protecting Leo from my constant needs. But the lies were quickly unraveling. Leo discovered that Ava had been managing his generosity, redirecting his good intentions for my care. She had even depleted a trust fund he'd set up for me, along with an emergency fund and a medical expense account. All the money that was meant to ensure my well-being had been used for her own designer clothes, cars, and vacations. I remembered the times when I'd called Ava for help. When I couldn't afford to fill my blood pressure medication, she'd said she'd talk to Leo. When the space heater broke, she'd promised to handle it. But nothing ever happened. She'd always made excuses, saying the family was going through a tight financial period. As the confrontation escalated, Ava's true colors emerged. She lashed out at me, calling me needy and pathetic. But sitting in that beautiful house, I finally felt a sense of clarity. I told her that I needed respect, honesty, and to be treated like a human being. I wanted her out of my house by the end of the week and never to see her again. Looking back, I realized that it all started when Leo was 20 and Ava was 18. My husband, Henry, had passed away, leaving me with a mountain of debt. Leo had gotten into Stanford, a dream come true for our family. I worked 3 jobs, cleaning offices at night, delivering groceries during the day, and tutoring kids on weekends. But it wasn't enough. I sold our family home to pay for Leo's tuition. Ava was furious. She couldn't understand why we had to make such a sacrifice. After Leo graduated, he became very successful. He started his own tech company and quickly became a millionaire. He wanted to take care of me, but Ava inserted herself between us. She took over the family logistics, telling me that Leo was too busy to worry about the details. When I started having trouble paying rent, she suggested a perfect place for me, which turned out to be the garage. I trusted her because she was my daughter. I was so grateful that Leo was thinking of me, and I never questioned her. But in reality, she had been systematically stealing from me and isolating me from my son. 2 weeks after Ava left, I was sorting through my belongings in the kitchen I'd always dreamed of having. Leo had taken a leave of absence from his company to help me. We were learning to be a family again, without Ava's interference. One day, a private investigator named Lily came to my door. She was hired by Ava's ex-husband, Ryan. In the course of investigating Ava's finances, she discovered that Ava had been intercepting money that was rightfully mine. There was a savings account with nearly $45,000, filled with Social Security overpayments, Medicare reimbursements, and proceeds from a life insurance policy that I didn't even know existed. Lily also found out that Ava had been planning to have me declared incompetent. She'd been documenting my concerning behaviors, using the fact that I lived in the garage as evidence that I couldn't take care of myself. She was going to use the untouched money in the account to support her claim that she was responsibly managing my affairs. I decided to press charges against Ava for financial elder abuse, identity theft, and fraud. The legal proceedings were swift. Ava pleaded guilty and received 3 years in prison. She also had to make full restitution, not just to me, but to two other elderly clients she'd been targeting. Now, I'm living a life I never thought possible. I've enrolled in a cooking class at the local community center. I've joined a walking group at the park. And I've even started dating a kind-hearted man named George, a retired firefighter. Leo's wife, Mia, is pregnant with our first grandchild. They include me in everything, from doctor's appointments to baby shopping trips. And just recently, Ryan's sister, Emily, brought my granddaughter, Lily, to meet me. She's a beautiful little girl with big, innocent eyes. Ryan wrote me a letter asking me to be part of Lily's life. He said she deserves to know her grandmother, and I deserve to know her. I've been thinking a lot about forgiveness. I'm not ready to forgive Ava, and I may never be. But I'm learning to forgive myself. For all the years I spent believing I was worth less, for teaching my children that love meant accepting whatever treatment I received, and for not fighting harder when I knew something was wrong. As I stand here in my garden, surrounded by the beauty of nature, I realize that I've finally learned to thrive. At 68, I'm free for the first time in decades, with a family to love and a future that belongs entirely to me. It took a lifetime, but I've learned that I'm worth fighting for, and that's enough.